Did you? You turned it up. But you're good. You're fine. Well, sir. You guys all set? Evening and welcome to the regular town council meeting for December 16th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like you to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, we'll look for a motion from the council to adopt the meeting minutes from November 18th, 2025.
Make a motion that we adopt minutes from regular meeting on November 18th, 2025.
Second. Moved and seconded. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments regarding the meeting minutes from the audience or from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes from November 18th, 2025, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. The motion passes. Did Eric fall off from the?
No,
No, he responded.
Is he on there?
yeah, I'm on. I don't know if you're gonna need to do roll call because I'm not at the meeting.
Yeah, and if you make a vote, we have to see your,
Just hear it, I think, just.
I think you have to see it. Pretty sure you have to see the video. Is it possible to see your video, Eric?
Why don't I refrain from this vote and I'll get pulled over so I can turn the video on. I'm traveling.
Okay. All right, if he's with, you want to do a roll call, yes, Bill? If he's on there?
Yeah, we still have to.
Well, he's not.
If he's not voted, yeah, I guess if he's not voting, I think we're good on that one. Because Eric abstained from that vote.
Okay.
Unless you
Okay.
want that on the record that he is staying. Just do the roll call.
Okay. Pete, how do you vote?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. And Eric abstains from the vote because we can't see him on Zoom. The ayes have it. The meeting minutes from November 18th, 2025 pass. Moving on to presentations, congratulations and introductions. Tonight we have the police chief, Vinnie Morris, presenting an award of recognition. Chief Morris.
Perfect. Thank you guys for having me tonight. Wanted to recognize someone from the town. You to come on up here. So we have right here Jason and Amanda Giles. I said that right, Giles? No, sorry. I should have read it off the paper. So as you guys know, they've been in the town for many years. They do a lot of help out the community in a lot of areas, and a lot of areas I didn't even know about until I started asking around about them. Yeah, I talked to Santa, which we know, everybody knows who Santa is, on Somerset Ave. He told me the last 2 years he wouldn't have been able to do what he's doing without their help, because he was actually ready to retire a couple of years ago, because he said he couldn't physically do these things anymore. And he mentioned he had the help from Maine Crane. And again, that gives us Santa for a couple more years, and I'm happy that is going on. And Jason does a lot of other things as well with the community. I know he is also a coach for the cross country Alpine team?
Just took that one.
So yes, so definitely, he does a lot of things, and of course, they have another small business, they do M&M tree farm, which is a great place. If you haven't got your tree yet, not a plug for them, but that's a good place to get a tree. So anyway, I just wanted to formally recognize them for the things they've done, for us. Without these two, we wouldn't have a beautiful Christmas tree, you know, for the town to enjoy. You know, it was from year one, 3 years ago? You helped out, and I didn't know how I was gonna get a big old tree down to the center of town, but he said, I got an idea, you know, the next thing I know, we got a tree. So, which is great, and hopefully we'll continue, you know, because I'm no lumberjack, I can't cut down a tree, like these guys can, they're great at it. But again, I just want to formally thank them, for what they do. Their float as well got second place in this year's parade. And I know she put a lot of work into this. And again, I just wanted to give them a certificate saying, hey, thank you guys for what you do. Appreciate it. We couldn't do what we do without you guys. Part of this.
Thank you guys very much. The community appreciates it. The tree does look great this year. Appreciate everybody involved in that. We will move on. Next, public hearings. There are none tonight. Item number 7, reports, town manager's report. If you guys want to leave, you can leave, but we'd appreciate it if you stay.
A few updates. You might have noticed some activity at the Bangor Savings Bank location on Main Street. They've been removing some underground tanks, and it looks like they've done initially. I'm reaching out to them to get a timeline on a little bit of site restoration. I had to go over the property line just a little bit to the back. Where we have parking spaces, to remove the tank. And, it also appears that they've either planning to or have located some monitoring wells that will need some type of access agreement for them to monitor and so forth. But, we'll bring that all together. A few meetings ago, we talked about the church TIF project that we referred to as the Meeting House TIF, and the TIF district. And initially, our goal was to basically draw up a large TIF district that would encompass Main Street, which would basically encompass the villages partnership project area. And what we ran into with doing that is that in order to do what's referred to as a downtown TIF, and that would be considered a downtown TIF, we actually have to adopt a formal downtown revitalization plan in order to create a TIF district like that. So that's something that's doable. It's doable, particularly since we're doing the comprehensive plan in 2026. We could, basically kind of include kind of a parallel thing to do a downtown revitalization plan. But that would be necessary to do a large TIF. We can still move forward with a site-specific TIF for Mr. Dow's project, which we've started that application, and we should be on track with that application. But it's just going to need, until we get that revitalization plan, it's just going to need to be for now a site-specific TIF involving that project. Had a meeting with the architects working on the new school project this week with public safety officials and code, just to kind of go over what the concept looks like right now. It's still a work in progress, and as that concept finalizes, then that will be submitted to the state for approval. Goral Palmer is close to a final draft on our pavement management plan, our 10+ year pavement management plan, and I expect that they'll be ready to present on that soon after the first of the year. So just kind of putting the finishing touches on that, but that'll be very valuable for us to move forward budget wise and then next budget cycle and then ongoing after that. Just want to mention that we are planning to close offices Wednesday, December 24th, 1 p.m. We've started getting some notices out, so you'll see more notices on that. And I wanted to mention the garden club and all the decorating they did for the Christmas season. It's pretty impressive, all the work that they do throughout the year. And I just wanted to mention too, their Festival of Trees, very well attended, very popular. And I know that they're already looking ahead next year for the same thing. So the group never stops. So that's the most recent, and I did include in your packets kind of a recap of 2025 and really all the things that we've taken on and move forward and plan to continue to move forward in 2026. And I can go through them, or you guys can kind of pick and choose what.
I mean, I guess I'd like to kind of highlight those. A lot of times, the recognition and the seeing everything that has been accomplished in the year kind of gets overlooked. I know a lot of people kind of don't really appreciate all the things that are going on and the collaboration between departments, between the town manager, between the community, and then between the council. So just kind of a quick highlight of some of our accomplishments. Water and sewer projects awarded for construction in 2026. Main Street water and sewer improvements, that was 1.7 million. In grants and low interest, Library Street water main improvement project, that was almost $1 million in low interest and grants. And then Birchwood is water, sewer, drainage, and road improvements for roughly $3 million in low interest and grants. Utility coordination with Maine DOT on North Main Street projects. The VPI, which everybody's aware of, that's moving forward and collaborating with the Maine DOT. Large bridge culvert replacement on Sebastian Street and Crawford Road. We're moving forward with brownfield grants for the theater potentially, the town garage, the Ford garage, and the former Redemption Center parcel. We also did adopt an efficient fuel management system, move away from underground fuel storage tanks, going towards a WEX card. What else we do? Review solid waste fees and policies. Comprehensive plan project awarded to KB Cog in 2026. The community theater was turned over to the VTech committee, and they're moving forward with their plans to hopefully revitalize that. We're working on the TIF district, as Jack just stated. New policies were TIF policies, sale of tax acquired properties, and disposal of town real estate. And in 2026, we're working on a tree maintenance project canopy, as well as a 10-year forest management. And as Jack said, working on the pavement plan for the next 10 years. If you remember where we started this year, we started the year with an interim town manager. We worked from the interim town manager to bringing Jack on board, and he obviously hit the ground running, jumped right into the budget season, which was kind of an oddball thing. We were transitioning from a calendar year to a fiscal year. So just all kinds of things that are kind of moving us forward, looking ahead, not just looking at the here and now, trying to plan and budget and see those things down the road a little better. So a lot of things going on, and you know, it's obviously not done alone. So we appreciate everybody from the town, from Jack and the council, working to accomplish these goals and hopefully move us forward in the right direction. So a lot of things going on, but we appreciate everybody's help. Guess that's it on that. We also have department head reports. Those are in the packet. If anybody needs to see what they're doing, they're obviously all quite busy. And moving on to item number 8, old business, there is none. Moving on to new business. Nicole, can you read resolution 25-127, please?
Resolved that the town council approve the policy for sale of tax acquired property.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-127.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, do you want to speak to that real quick?
So, most of you are aware, you're probably all aware that things have changed in terms of the procedures we have to follow to sell tax acquired property. It used to be more discretion in the process in terms of putting tax acquired properties out to bid and and so forth. And there was this Supreme Court ruling a few years ago that specified that the towns need to follow more structure in doing that. And so the state of Maine kind of followed the ruling and changed, or created statutorily procedures that follow that ruling, and we follow. And so it's really been kind of a chance, or really the need for towns to go back through and adopt new policies for tax acquired property that comply. And like I said, it's very procedural. You have to try to enlist a realtor and put it on the market for a certain amount of time, certain notifications to former owners and so forth. Now, that said, if we exhaust that process and it does not yield a sale, then it can go into more of a general bucket of disposal by other means. So that's actually kind of the segue into the next policy would be property that we already own, property that's exhausted the process for dispensing a tax acquired property is really the second policy of just, disposal of town owned property. So in case it's a little confusing, like why do you need two? It's because one's very prescribed, the other one has a lot of latitude to do it in various ways that the council might want to do it. So it's kind of in a nutshell.
Good. Thank you, Jack. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-127? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the council? Hearing none. Since we're ready to vote, we need to do a roll call. Councilor Saucier's on Zoom. Eric, how do you vote? Yeah. I think you're muted. Somebody's in here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Stand by.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Pete, how do you vote?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Ayes have it. Resolution 25-127 passes. Moving on to resolution 25-128, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council approve the policy for disposal of town owned real estate.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 25-128.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And this kind of goes hand in hand with 25-127, as Jack described. Is there anything more you need to add to that policy?
Not really, as you can see, it's shorter, and there's basically, multiple avenues that the council can take in terms of, whether it's, goes out to an RFP, or if it goes out to bid, or it just, different avenues that council can choose, on a sale. And, but it does provide clarity in terms of what the process would be, so.
Sure. Excellent. There are any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-128? Hearing none. Any questions from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, Eric, how do you vote? Need to unmute him again. Why does it keep doing it? Eric,
Yeah,
how do you vote?
Jack needs to give me permission to unmute. Aye.
Aye, thank you. Pete?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 25-128 passes. Moving on to resolution 25-129. Nicole.
Resolved that the town council vote to initiate a dangerous building proceeding at 135 Main Street.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion we approve resolution 25-129.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This one is fairly self-explanatory, but is there anything you or the photo officer need to add to this? Or-
So we have the benefit of photography, aerial photography that shows the extent of the damage on the roof. And based on that, Russell proceeded to notify the owner of the property that there needed to be a plan in place to, well, they needed to address the conditions of the building. And there were some deadlines in that notification that certain things needed to be done within timeframes in terms of submitting a plan to us, you know, engaging somebody to do the work. And we did not get a response, I don't believe, on that. And so the path then just moves to formal dangerous building action, where we would provide notice and a hearing to make a finding that the building is dangerous. And then the council can issue an order with another deadline, and then the owner would comply with that order to alleviate the danger, repair the building, or remove the structure. At that point, the town would reserve the right to step in and address the safety issue and or remove the structure. So that's kind of how the formal process plays out, but the immediate step is to serve notice and hold a hearing on this building. The owner can make their case and contest our finding that it's dangerous. That's part of the process. So we want to initiate it and then start moving forward with it.
Excellent. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-129?
I'd like to speak to that.
Yes, sir. Can you state your name and where you live? Yep. Thank you.
Some of you know me, I'm involved with the BTEC group, so we're a direct abutter to this property, and obviously we have concerns about it. And I commend you for proceeding with this process. I know it's a fairly involved and lengthy process, and it has varying results. I think there is an opportunity for the town or Peak to get more directly involved in the disposition of this property. And as a member, it would have to be done, obviously, in the executive session. As a member of Peak, I would be very happy to be involved in any of those discussions should they take place.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
any questions for me? We obviously want to see it resolved because it's impacting the theater, and it's also a danger to the public. And it's just, in my view, it's a shame to see a historic property like that allowed to deteriorate. It's one of the few remaining historic buildings we have on our Main Street. I'd like to see something done to salvage it to the extent that it can be.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. If we're proceeding, oh, I'm sorry, any other questions from the audience? Hearing none, any questions from the council? I would have one, if we proceed forward with a dangerous building, which we are, obviously, does that prevent anybody from buying that building, or if they buy it, they just have to inherit that?
Yeah, sometimes that's how it goes, is somebody might be interested in selling a dangerous building, not be interested in doing anything to it. They may feel that there's some value there for somebody to come in, step in and deal with the issues. And then the buyer knows full well that there's an order pending against it, and I've seen it kind of play out where that potential buyer is communicating directly with the council to say, I want to buy this, and you've given a deadline of 60 days, but I need 90 and whatever, and we could set up benchmarks to say, well, okay, come in 30 and report, come in 60 and report that things are moving along, and you can work with someone along those lines. So by initiating the dangerous building action, it doesn't shut any doors to the property changing hands.
All right. Any other questions?
I guess I have concerns about, it definitely is a dangerous building, there's bits and pieces falling off it, impacting neighboring businesses and buildings, and certainly we have a sidewalk right there. It should have probably been addressed long ago. This is going on, what, 2 years since the storm? Almost 3.
Yeah.
I guess my concern is, so we go through this process of dangerous building. If the town has a finding of dangerous building, and then we do the public hearing that you had talked about, what's the outcome of that public hearing? And then what's the next step beyond that, aside from like someone coming in and the owner agreeing to sell the building to somebody else, and then does the clock start again because the transfer of ownership, do you have to start in step 1 again?
No, so there'll be an order drafted to go along with the hearing, and basically what we're doing is presenting an order to deem it a building dangerous. And that's the subject of the hearing. So the owner would be offering up their perspective on perhaps why they disagree with that order or the finding or whatever. That's their opportunity. But once the hearing closes, the council can adopt the order. So the order will be already written, and the order would be pretty much, and it could be a fill in the blank thing where, we don't know how long the council wants to give for the remedy to happen, but that could be filled in and, right in real time. But you issue the order, and then if it's 60 days to a certain thing happening, then the council's always in the position to modify the order and modify it in an extra 30 days or an extra 60 days, depending on what's going on. If there's a purchase and sale agreement and there's a due diligence period and somebody's gonna step in and buy it, but they're not gonna buy it for 45 days, you can modify the order accordingly. All the clock does is, it sets the clock so that if certain things don't happen, then the town has the right, but not necessarily the obligation, but has the right to step in and take action. So that once that clock expires, the town could go in and be the, could have the repairs done. Now we can assess a special tax, and we can recoup the money. That way, the town could, step in, at that point could choose to and remove the structure depending on the circumstances. And then assess a special tax. So basically creates a clock where if that clock runs out, the town could then step in and take an active role in resolving the danger.
This is the obligation part that you were talking about that makes me a little bit nervous, that the town would then be responsible in some way for this building and making sure that those changes are made. Because if we're saying it's a dangerous building, we go through this hearing process, the declaration's made, and they don't do that. The town then has an obligation to make sure that this is remedied to the point where it's no longer a danger to people walking on the sidewalk or the buildings next to it.
I think it's fair to say that if we issue the order, then, we don't have a specific obligation for a certain course of action, but we will have, there'll be an obligation to some extent that we continue to move forward to resolve the danger. We're saying that it presents a hazard, and we put ourselves in a position to remediate that hazard.
And the owner retains ownership of the building?
Correct,
At
the
what
owner will
point
retain
that-
ownership, even if, and there's cases where, a structure is removed and the owner still owns the lot, but there's no structure there, and there's a special tax assessed to the lot to recoup, our cost in dealing with a dangerous structure. So sometimes it goes that route. But this is not it's not an acquisition of property. It's the, ability to address a danger through, a dangerous building. Action.
So the town, during all that process, doesn't become liable if something happens to the building, it collapses, endangers somebody or another building, we don't then become liable because of this process.
We're not the owner,
We're-
so we're not gonna take, owner's liability for things where, we're stepping in to, to remediate the hazard. But, yeah.
Any other questions from the council? Certainly not a good situation and hopefully this will move it in the right direction. Since we're ready to vote, and Eric, how do you vote on resolution 25-129?
Aye.
Thank you. Pete?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 25-129 passes. Moving on to resolution 25-130. Nicole. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, folks.
Yep,
Resolved that the town council approves of proposal from Blaine for tree maintenance services.
look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt, that we open for discussion, resolution 25-130.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack?
So we're doing a project canopy grant. The project canopy grant is basically to maintain our town trees, improve the canopy. And so the project is to hire a licensed arborist to prune 50 trees in a way that improves the health of our town canopy. And so we put an RFP out, we got 3 responses, and you've got that tabulated. We also put in the RFP, basically just rates so that if we were to call on them for, general tree services, emergency tree services, we would have rates for that. Which is pretty much the same as the project canopy work. So we have 3 responses. We have, I think, probably the response that is the most comprehensive in terms of including the assessment portion of project canopy would be Fournier's, the total estimated cost of $16,000. The bid submitted by Belanger Tree Care does not address assessment and gives a range, a low end and a high end, which is a little bit hard to pay. So
your recommendation would be 4.
I feel that as far as completing project canopy, with the pieces, accounted for, that 4 years, would be a good, fit for that. And, I did run all these, responses by our project coordinator and, they don't really weigh in on, who they would prefer, but, they didn't disqualify anybody. But we can see that we did get a response that was pretty thorough in terms of the work we need for project canopy from Fournier's.
Okay. I was kind of surprised we didn't get anybody closer to Pittsfield. Honestly. These guys are pretty far. They're all pretty far away. But anyway, okay. Any questions from the council moving forward with Fournier's?
What's our project canopy grant amount?
It's in the vicinity of 60,000, and so the biggest part of that, yes, so this is covered by the grant. The biggest part of that is planting 40 new trees, and we'll need to do that as well. And that's not an activity of the arborist. We go out and buy. Department of Conservation kind of works with us on how to get, good pricing, or where to, request proposals for the actual trees, but we have a lot of tree planting to do. That's the majority of the grant.
But that's not part of this or the next one.
No, it's not part of the arborist work or the other one, no.
And part of this, you said the assessment, that's them going through and cataloging. Or we've done Project Canopy before, so we should have a catalog of our downtown trees.
We have a
already.
tree inventory. This is more like based on the current status of health of trees right now. Excuse me, the arborist would look and say, based on the canopy, the health of the tree, age of the tree, here are the 50 trees that we would recommend to get the best overall improvement to the town's canopy. Yeah, so they do that assessment.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-130? Hearing none. Any other questions from the council? Craig, would you like to? Look for a motion to close discussion and adopt resolution 25-130
As stated.
as amended, as stated.
Okay. Yep, I'll make a motion. Or we just, yeah, make a motion that we close, discussion on resolution 25-130.
Second.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-130 as recommended stated.
For 4 years, streets are
There's tree in the amount of, almost that page, sorry.
16,000.
16,000. Yep. Sorry. 16,000.
Yeah. Second.
Moved and seconded. I will, Eric, are you in favor of resolution 25-130 as amended, as stated? Aye, thank you.
Aye.
Pete, how do you vote?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 25-130 passes as stated. Moving on to resolution 25-131.
Resolved that the town council approve a proposal from Joint for Forest Management Services.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we open for discussion, resolution 25-131.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Yeah, you want to speak to this?
This is a request for proposals we sent out, to address approximately 1,000 acres of town-owned, land that on or adjacent to, Peltoma. In terms of, doing evaluation of the property, doing an initial harvest based on that, valuation, and then doing a 10-year forest management plan, for, how best to, utilize the resources, on that property. And we got 2 responses, one from Two Trees Forestry and one from Prentice and Carlisle. And we broke it up into those 3 phases that I mentioned. Phase 1, evaluation report. Phase 2, an initial harvest, and what that might be is, what the forester would say should, it would be kind of a time sensitive harvest, stuff that might be close to, falling down, might be, lost resource if it wasn't done sooner rather than later type thing. And then a plan going forward to continue to do harvesting as, you know, as the plan might suggest. In the RFP, I gave a pretty wide window of, you know, when we would want to be done, so we didn't necessarily specify. The completion date, although I do see a typo on here. 2 trees, yeah, so on the estimated completion of phase 2, yeah, the estimated completion of phase 2, would be, completing the harvest in 2026. Whereas the other proposal was, completing the harvest and, would be in the final plan, all closed out December 1st, 2028. So one proposal's a lot more compressed time-wise than the other, which, you know, I guess, you know, has some benefits, but, you know, either way, I wanted to kind of lay it out so that, you know, it could just be done, in a timeline that made sense.
Did they provide references of like whether? Now, do we know that these are reputable?
They're all licensed foresters, and I believe I got, the list of licensed foresters.
References.
Yeah. I do think we did.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if we had any experience with these two companies, was. Your recommendations to go with
I think the
the
overall,
faster timeline.
I think the overall most competitive bid would be the, 2 trees, forestry, proposal. Because of the phase 2, cost, seems significantly below the estimated phase 2 cost, for the other proposal, as well as the, timeline that could potentially, complete the, project, by the end of 2026.
Okay. All right, are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-131? Hearing none, are there any questions from the council?
I just have one. This the property down by the Snowmobile Club? Or is it just scattered?
It's, property behind the Somerville Club is, I think, behind the, Reeves Center,
Around the airport.
around the airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land falling on it.
So these estimates are what we're gonna pay to have somebody do this, or this
This is
money
what
that's
we
gonna
would,
be coming into the town, or?
right, so, we're gonna get a revenue from this, which will offset all these costs,
Eventually, but this is just yes.
Right. So we would pay, for the phase 1 evaluation report, $42.50, if we went with a 2 trees, proposal. And then the phase 2 initial harvest would be, 15% of the stumpage, estimated at 4,500. So on the phase 2 initial harvest, we would recoup, the cost of the, evaluation report and then some. After we paid for that, and then we would have the, we'd have the plan going forward. And, you know, the valuation report is also going to tell us what, we would expect out of the harvest, you know, as far as what the resources were. And so we can make decisions really based on that evaluation report. You know, once that's available. But, you know, just the way the numbers work, we recoup our costs after the initial harvest. And then, you know, moving forward with the future harvest, we can, base our decisions on the plan and on the valuation report.
there any thoughts on, and this might be a future council question, I mean, one thing that I like about this is that it's staged payments, so you're not getting whacked with it all at once in the budget, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at $4,250 in 2026, early 26. So that's this year's budget. And then the payment out for the initial harvest wouldn't be until the harvest is complete by the end of next year, which puts it into 26-27 budget. And then it would also be the forestry management fund, so it's kind of split over 2 years. But any thoughts on utilizing this revenue stream as a way to create a long-term, kind of like we have the cemetery fund, like create a long-term fund for, put it aside into an account that can grow over time to fund projects in the town that would have to do with like further tree maintenance or recreation programming or, something to do with the environment in town and projects that we want to see accomplished that don't always get accomplished, because you're going to be recouping your initial costs. And then after that, it would be, just beneficial dollars that would be coming into the town, rather than just saying, oh, it's going to go into the general fund. Is there a way that this can be set aside and utilized for actual project planning? Or does it have to go into the general fund?
No, I think that's a good question for, the council to talk about is, what purposes would the council be interested in dedicating the harvest funds toward? It could be, it could be anything. But I think that's pretty typical when you have a forest management plan and you have a harvest, you tend to target those revenues for specific purposes, so that's completely open for discussion.
So then,
I mean, overall, I think this is a great idea. I've been wanting to see this happen for many, many years, so I'm glad to see it happen.
so another party comes in and does the harvest, and then that's the company that'll be paying us.
Right, so part of what the.
And that'll offset all this $13,000.
So part of what the forester will do is help us put an RFP out for loggers.
Yeah,
For the contractors to come in and do the harvest, and they would be the ones paying us.
right. So there's your positive versus pocket expense, I guess. Okay. Any other questions regarding resolution 25-131? Hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. Eric, how do you vote on resolution? Wait, no, just kidding.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead and amend that, please.
I mean, move that we close resolution 25-131 for discussion.
Second, vote.
Second.
Second. Perfect. I make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-131.
Approve the proposal.
And approve the bid award to Two Trees. Yep, as stated.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of resolution 25-131 as stated, please signify by saying aye. Oh, no, just kidding. We gotta do a roll call. Eric, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Pete?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 25-131 passes. Moving on to resolution 25-132. Nicole.
Result that the town council approve the proposal from Friends for the use of their cleanup and restoration.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we
Open for
open for discussion, resolution 25-132.
Second.
Moved and seconded. There's gotta be an easier way to do that, but go ahead. You have anything that says that we've got 2 quotes from cleanup and restoration at the reuse center?
Yeah, we had, two, commercial, cleaning and restoration companies, both pretty local. Within probably 30 minutes drive from here, both companies, came over and looked at it. There's a pretty significant variation in costs for doing that. But Bouchard's Cleaning and Restoration, did present us with the lower price proposal.
They also did a more thorough,
Yeah, I noticed that, the Bouchard's, proposal was based on, square footage, whereas the other competing proposal was based on a time estimate.
Good.
Which, might have been part of the reason why there was a variance, but,
the recommendation would be to go with Bouchard's Cleaning and Restoration in the total of $3,788.46.
that's correct.
Correct. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 25-132? Any questions from the council?
I would say I just recently found myself in needs of the service of Bouchard's Cleaning, and they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
In an emergency situation in my office, so
They're very reputable.
very,
Yeah.
they do a very good job. So,
Oh, I would look for a motion from the council to,
Right, did we have grant funding for this? Or was this so that we could utilize the grant funding for the, Verizon project for the community development at the site? We needed to do the cleanup first.
So, we put the roof on, but we did it after we'd already had the water damage, and so this is really, cleaning up the aftermath of the roof leaking. I'm still trying to verify the availability of some of the funding that we had discussed that, could potentially go into bathrooms and heat pumps and things like that. So this is not a grant funded cleanup. This will be to get the building into a more usable, condition, so that people can be in there without, worrying about, any type of, whether there's any, mold or any of that. They'll do like I said, they'll do a good job, and it'll be a usable space for us, and, however it moves forward, if we, start in with a plan for, the reuse center, that'd be available for that, but really for anything we're gonna do with it, we've gotta just take care of it at this point and get it.
So the funds for this are gonna come out of the buildings maintenance fund? Okay.
Either that, or we have a contingency that we have in the budget, and the small amount here would be able to be handled through that.
Okay.
any other question? All right, Craig, do you want to amend your?
yeah. So I make a motion that we close resolution 25-132 for discussion.
Second.
All right, and make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-132, accepting the bid from Bouchard's Cleaning and Restoration for $3,788.46.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions from the audience or council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote. Eric, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Pete?
Aye.
Craig?
All right,
Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 25-132 passes. Moving on to resolution 25-133, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council appoint Joseph Petchel to the board of appeals.
Look for a motion from the council.
make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-133.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, is this the last position that was open for that? Or do we still have more after that?
You know that, Nicole?
I think it fills it, doesn't it?
I wanna say maybe there's one more.
I think I've got one more here.
Yeah. Either way, it's always good to have close to a full board. Is there anything you need to speak on that? It's pretty self-explanatory, appointing Joseph Mitchell to the Board of Appeals. Any questions or comments from the audience or the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote. Eric, how do you vote on resolution 25-133?
Aye.
Thank you. Pete?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather? Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 25-133 passes. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Always good to have all the help we can get. Moving on to one more in here. If I can find it, sorry, yeah, that ordinance,
That's on page 2.
I was looking for it, sorry. Moving on to ordinance 2503. To be set to public hearing on 1/6/2026. I would first make a ask for a motion from the council to
Waive the reading.
waive the reading of the ordinance, since it is very lengthy. It is all provided in the council packet and the agenda.
Make a motion that we waive the reading of ordinance 2503.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is that, I guess, Jack, do you wanna give Cliff Notes version?
You wanna do the roll call for?
Oh, yes, I will do a roll call for waiving the reading of ordinance 2503. Eric, how do you vote?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. That will waive the reading of resolution ordinance 2503. And I would look for a motion from the council regarding,
We're gonna do the Cliff Notes, right?
oh, yeah, sorry.
So I'm just gonna kind of go through the Cliff
Yeah.
Note version of what this is.
Ordinance 2503, Jack, can you please read it?
So, really all of the, water sewer infrastructure projects that we've been talking about over the, past few years are kind of, encapsulated in an authorization to go to the bond bank to kind of, finish out the financing for the projects that we have slated for next, construction season. The ordinance authorizes the borrowing, by the town of up to $4,213,000 and to expend such amount for the purpose of, paying all or a portion of the following project costs. $1,230,000 for construction, reconstruction, and replacement of roadway drainage infrastructure and related facilities in the town, which is Birchwood. $823,000 for the construction, reconstruction, paving, restoration, repair, replacement, roads related facilities within the town, again, Birchwood. $460,000 for the construction and replacement of water mains within the town, primarily Birchwood. $940,000 for the construction and replacement of water mains and related improvements on Library Street. $140,000 for improvements and upgrades to the town's sewer system, which may include but not limited to rehabilitation of sections of Main Street sewer main. $620,000 for the design of replacement water mains, related infrastructure in Main Street in the town. Collectively, the projects and the ordinance further authorizes the town's issuance from time to time, general obligation bonds and notes in anticipation thereof. Aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4,213,000 for the purpose of securing amounts to be borrowed to pay for the projects. Ordinance would take effect 30 days after its adoption.
Thank you, Jack.
Yep.
I look for a motion from the council regarding ordinance 2503.
I make a motion that we set ordinance 2503 to public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any questions from the audience regarding ordinance 2503? Hearing none. Are there any questions from the council? Hearing none. Since we're ready to vote. Eric, how do you vote on ordinance 2503 to set the public hearing?
Aye.
Thank you. Pete?
Aye.
Craig? Aye. Heather?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Ordinance 2503 is set to public hearing, January 6th, 2026. And that concludes our new business. Moving on to discussion items. Are there any public comments this evening? Hearing none, I will move on to councilor comments. Eric, do you have a comment tonight?
No report.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. Drive safe. Pete?
Only comment I have is wishing Bob and Heather well, as I believe tonight's their last night on council. True?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, Bob's too.
Yeah.
Retirement.
Second time.
Until next time.
Third time.
Yeah.
Fourth time's a charm.
Philip Rivers of.
Right. That's all I have.
Thanks, Pete. Craig.
Yeah, a couple things. I'll obviously echo that as well. It's been a pleasure serving with both of you. Heather, no matter what, it has been a pleasure. And iron sharpens iron, right? So it's been great. And I think the town's been a beneficiary of that. So it has been fun. A couple things. I want to add to a couple of the accomplishments.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So, you know, I guess one of the things I guess we hear quite often is that money gets diverted here and there, right? We don't ever make strides forward in maintenance equipment and stuff like that. So I kind of want to call some attention to, I believe it was 4 pieces of equipment purchased this year, 2 new pickup trucks, 1 new dump truck, and an excavator, right? Moving this town towards actually getting us into a position of, and a grader, 5, right? And so, thank you. And so, you know, actually making some strides towards putting our equipment in a position where we can actually take care of our roads, right? And giving our guys some safe equipment to drive and not asking them to kind of do patchwork every day. So good stuff there. I just want to shout that out because that's always a thing. And sometimes it's nice to hear that we actually were able to accomplish that this year. I will be looking forward to hearing that our salt priority is happening fairly soon.
Right, yeah, trucks came in yesterday after 6 weeks of back order.
Yay.
Yeah, so we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
No, that's
you
great.
guys trying to order anything, trying to get.
Oh, yeah.
But Friday, yes, it should be done Friday.
Awesome.
It's only supposed to be rain Friday, so you're good.
Yeah, but we have 4 straight,
Deep freeze on Saturday.
we got 4 straight days of storms coming afterwards, the week after, so it'll be great.
So looking for volunteers.
So no, that's great, right? I mean, it's gonna be awesome for us, right? Lower the cleanup, lower the mess, right? And
Cheaper.
right? Save money all over, right? It's gonna be great stuff. So that, and I think I'll close with Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig.
Absolutely.
Heather?
I just want to wish everyone happy holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate. And it's been a pleasure to serve for, I lost track of how many years.
Oh, wow.
Since 2013, a little hiatus in there for a year. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to serve, and I would just encourage anyone that has any interest in serving the town to consider serving on the town council. If you have the time and the wherewithal, it's a huge learning experience. When I agreed to do it the first time, it's because little lady down the street used to serve, and I cannot remember her name. But she just showed up on my doorstep one day and said, would you or your husband be interested? Actually, no, she asked my husband. She said, would your husband be interested in serving on a town committee? She didn't even tell me what it was. And I was like, well, he doesn't really do those kinds of things. What I do. And she's like, okay, go see Nicole at the town office and she'll get you signed up. And then I went to see Nicole. Nicole's like, here's the papers and you get 25 signatures. And I'm like, what is this? And so it, yeah, it's been an interesting several years, and gonna take some time to really concentrate on our business that's growing and it needs more of my attention, so. But thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Bob?
I don't have a whole lot. I'd like to thank Heather for her service. I served with her a couple of terms
Oh,
ago.
there are several times.
Yeah, so thank you for your service
You're welcome.
and good luck in your retirement. And Merry Christmas or Happy New Year's, or like you said, whatever holiday you celebrate.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
Good. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
I say something.
Yeah, sure. Jack?
I'd just like to say thank you, Heather, for, it's been great working with you and Bob as well. You guys are very dedicated, members of the council and really helped me along. I also want to mention too, that we talk about the accomplishments we've had in 2025, but it's an entire team effort. We don't accomplish things without the entire team, the council, pulling, all in the same direction, the staff. I think we have one great team to be able to pull this off, and I just want to keep that perspective. We all work together, we can have an even bigger list of accomplishments for 2026, and that's exactly where we're headed. So thank you to everybody.
Great. Thank you, Jack. And I will close with one more accomplishment that we overlooked, but it's one that we've heard plenty of times in here. The fact that we were able to pave as much as we could pave with the limited budget that we had, that was kind of out of the box thinking by the public works folks and Jack, and the fact that we could pave, most of, I call it Birchwood, but that whole cul-de-sac, I guess, was great, and we rebuilt Lanchy Street as well. So two great accomplishments with limited budget, and the paving management plan will just help us to do those types of things in the future. So that was a great accomplishment, and people really appreciated that. I would also like to thank Heather for 12 years of service. This is a thankless job and a tough job, and anybody that's willing to do it for that long is, it's impressive. I hope I'm not here after 12 years. But it's certainly appreciated by the town and me, and I know we, butted heads at times, but I think it all comes from the same place. We all want Pittsfield to be better, and how we get there might differ at times, but we all love the community, and that's what we're trying to, shoot for. So I appreciate your service, and hopefully we can fill those shoes and keep this thing rolling. And Bob, I appreciate you stepping in. It's tough when we don't have a full council. There's a few meetings that we wouldn't have had if you weren't sitting here. So certainly appreciate that. And hopefully, again, we can fill these shoes and keep this thing going. Just thank you for the entire staff and all the workers that go kind of unthanked and unnoticed most of the time, but it's not unnoticed or unappreciated by me or by all the council. Really appreciate everything that everybody does all year long. Looking forward to 2026 and where we're headed. And yeah, just happy New Year and happy holidays, and yeah, here's to 2026. I look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion with adjourn.
Second.